Welcome to Thriller Nights, your go-to channel for chilling tales of mystery and suspense. I'm your host, Greg. If you enjoy our stories, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us for more thrilling nighttime narratives. Tonight, we delve into a real-life mystery that shook a small town to its core. This is the story of the missing journalist. Anna Peterson was a promising young journalist working for the Millfield Gazette, a small-town newspaper known for its dedication to local news. Anna was known for her tenacity and fearless approach to uncovering the truth. Her editor, Thompson, often praised her ability to get to the heart of a story, no matter the obstacles. Millfield, a quaint town nestled in the hills, had always been a peaceful place. It was the kind of town where everyone knew each other, and the community looked out for one another. But beneath its idyllic surface, secrets festered. One brisk autumn morning, Anna was reported missing. She had failed to return home the previous night, and her absence was immediately noticed by her close friends and family. When she didn't show up for work the next day, Thompson knew something was terribly wrong. The local police were notified, and Detective Maria Lopez was assigned to the case. Detective Lopez was a seasoned investigator with a reputation for her meticulous approach. As she arrived at the Gazette to begin her investigation, she couldn't shake the feeling that this case was different from any she had handled before. The first step was to retrace Anna's last known movements. She had been working on an investigative piece about a prominent local businessman, Mark Harrison. Harrison was a well-respected figure in Millfield, known for his charitable contributions and business acumen. But Anna had recently uncovered some discrepancies in his dealings, and she believed there was more to his story. Anna's colleagues mentioned that she had been particularly tense and secretive in the days leading up to her disappearance. She had confided in a close friend that she felt she was being watched. These revelations added an urgent and ominous tone to the investigation. As Detective Lopez dug deeper, she found herself piecing together a puzzle that hinted at corruption, betrayal, and possibly something even darker. The small town of Millfield was about to be shaken to its core, and the truth behind Anna Peterson's disappearance would reveal secrets that some would go to great lengths to keep hidden. Detective Maria Lopez began her investigation with a sense of determination. The first step was to interview Anna's friends, family, and colleagues to establish a timeline and gather any relevant information. Anna's parents were devastated but cooperative. They described her as a passionate and driven individual who always stood up for what she believed in. Her mother, tearfully, recounted the last conversation she had with Anna, where Anna mentioned she was close to a breakthrough in her investigation. Next, Detective Lopez visited the Millfield Gazette. Thompson, the editor, was visibly shaken. He handed over Anna's desk notes, her computer, and her personal effects from the office. As they spoke, he highlighted the tension Anna had felt recently, particularly after she started looking into Mark Harrison's business dealings. She was onto something big, Jack said, his voice wavering. She believed Harrison was involved in some serious criminal activities, but she didn't have all the pieces yet. Anna was always thorough. She wouldn't accuse anyone without solid proof. The detective then turned her attention to Anna's colleagues. They confirmed her dedication and recent unease. One colleague, Lisa, mentioned that Anna had been receiving threatening emails, warning her to stop her investigation. The emails were anonymous, but Anna believed they were connected to her work on Harrison. Detective Lopez then met with Harrison himself, a man known for his charisma and seemingly impeccable reputation. He appeared cooperative, expressing shock and concern over Anna's disappearance. Mark Harrison, "I had no idea she was looking into me," he claimed. "I've always supported the press and their role in our community. I hope she's found safe and sound." Despite his calm demeanor, Detective Lopez couldn't shake the feeling that Harrison knew more than he was letting on. She requested access to his business records, which he reluctantly agreed to provide. Meanwhile, the search for Anna continued. The police combed through her apartment, looking for any clues that might indicate where she had gone or who might have taken her. They found her laptop, which contained detailed notes on her investigation into Harrison. It was clear that Anna had uncovered something significant, but the exact nature of her findings was still unclear. In the days following Anna's disappearance, tips and leads began to trickle in. Some were dead ends, while others pointed towards the deeper, murkier waters of Millfield's underbelly. The small town, known for its picturesque charm, was revealing a side of itself that few knew existed. Detective Lopez received a tip from an anonymous source claiming to have seen Anna talking to a man at a local cafe just days before she vanished. The description matched Harrison's right-hand man, a shadowy figure named Robert Kane, known for handling Harrison's more discreet affairs. This lead was the first real crack in Harrison's seemingly perfect facade. As the investigation intensified, Lopez began to feel the pressure. The town was on edge, and the media was hungry for updates. She knew that finding Anna and uncovering the truth behind her disappearance was not just about solving a case. It was about restoring the peace and trust in Millfield. Detective Lopez's investigation was starting to gain traction. With the new lead about Robert Kane, she decided to delve deeper into his background and activities. Kane had a reputation for being the fixer in Harrison's organization, dealing with problems quietly and efficiently. His involvement in Anna's disappearance was becoming a more tangible possibility. Lopez obtained a warrant to search Kane's residence. The search yielded several pieces of evidence that hinted at his involvement in shady activities, but nothing directly tied him to Anna. However, they did find a burner phone with several deleted messages. Forensics was able to recover some of the data, revealing communications between Kane and an unknown number discussing taking care of the problem. This was a crucial breakthrough. Lopez needed to identify the unknown number and decipher the messages. Meanwhile, she continued to piece together Anna's last known movements. Surveillance footage from the local cafe confirmed that Anna had met with Kane a few days before she disappeared. The footage showed them having a heated discussion, further cementing the link between Kane and Anna's investigation. Back at the precinct, Lopez and her team worked tirelessly to trace the burner phone's communications. It led them to a secluded cabin owned by Mark Harrison. The cabin was situated on the outskirts of Millfield, in a dense forest area. This discovery raised the stakes. Could Anna be held there? Lopez organized a raid on the cabin. The operation was tense. They had no idea what to expect. As they approached, the silence of the forest was almost deafening. With guns drawn, they stormed the cabin, only to find it empty. However, inside, they found signs of recent habitation, discarded food containers, a makeshift bed, and, most importantly, a diary that belonged to Anna. The diary contained detailed entries about her investigation into Harrison and Kane. It was a goldmine of information, outlining the corruption and illegal activities she had uncovered. One entry stood out. Anna had written about a meeting with a confidential informant who claimed to have evidence that could bring Harrison down. The meeting was set to take place the night she disappeared. Lopez now had a clearer picture. Anna had been on the verge of exposing a major scandal involving Harrison and his associates. But where was she now? The urgency of the situation was palpable. Every minute counted in finding Anna alive. The evidence from the cabin pointed to a larger conspiracy. Lopez suspected that Kane had moved Anna elsewhere when he realized the cabin was compromised. The diary entries hinted at a secondary location, an abandoned warehouse that Harrison used for his illicit operations. This was their next target. As Lopez prepared her team for the next raid, the tension was almost unbearable. The town of Millfield was holding its breath, waiting for news. The media was relentless, and the pressure to solve the case was immense. But Lopez was resolute. She knew she was close, and she wouldn't rest until Anna was found and justice was served. Detective Lopez and her team geared up for the raid on the abandoned warehouse. This location, on the outskirts of Millfield, was notorious among locals for its eerie atmosphere and rumored criminal activities. As they approached, the air was thick with tension and anticipation. The warehouse loomed in the distance, its dilapidated structure a stark contrast to the serene surroundings. The team moved in with caution, sweeping each room methodically. In the basement, they found evidence of recent activity, chains and ropes, a small cot, and signs of a struggle. But there was no sign of Anna. Despite the initial disappointment, Lopez knew they were close. The discovery of the basement setup confirmed their suspicions that Anna had been held there. Forensics collected samples, and the team secured the location. The evidence gathered was critical, but it also deepened the mystery. Where had Kane moved Anna now? Back at the precinct, Lopez reviewed the information they had so far. The burner phone messages, the surveillance footage, the diary entries, all pointed to a conspiracy that was more intricate than she had initially thought. She began to suspect that someone within the police force might be leaking information to Harrison and Kane. This mole was hindering their progress and putting Anna's life at greater risk. Lopez decided to trust only a select few in her inner circle. With this newfound caution, she revisited the recovered diary entries. Anna had written about a safe house used by Harrison for high-stakes meetings. This location had to be the next step, but finding it required more than a simple search. It required insider knowledge. Lopez turned to an unlikely source, a former associate of Kane's who had turned state's witness years ago. This man, Paul Mitchell, was serving time for his role in Harrison's earlier schemes, but had been known to cooperate for leniency. Lopez arranged a meeting, hoping Mitchell's insight could lead them to the safe house. In the sterile confines of the prison visitation room, Lopez laid out the situation to Mitchell. At first, he was reluctant, wary of getting involved again with Harrison's dangerous web. But when Lopez mentioned Anna's disappearance and the urgency of the situation, a flicker of humanity crossed Mitchell's face. "Paul Mitchell, there's a place," he began, his voice low. "Harrison called it the Retreat. It's an old farmhouse, off the grid. He used it for his most sensitive meetings. If Anna's got something that could ruin him, that's where he'd keep her." Armed with this new lead, Lopez wasted no time. She dispatched a covert team to the farmhouse. The drive there was filled with a mix of hope and dread. The Retreat was their best lead yet, but time was running out. As they arrived at the secluded farmhouse, Lopez could feel her pulse quicken. They surrounded the building, and on her signal, the team moved in. This time, they were prepared for anything. Inside the farmhouse, the air was thick with dust and tension. The team spread out, meticulously checking each room. In a back room, hidden behind a false wall, they found a small, locked door. Breaking it open, they discovered Anna, disheveled but alive, chained to a chair. The sight of Anna, though weak and frightened, filled Lopez with a surge of relief. They had found her in time. Anna was immediately taken to safety, where she received medical attention and was reunited with her frantic family. With Anna rescued, Lopez's focus shifted to bringing Harrison and Kane to justice. The evidence collected, along with Anna's testimony, was more than enough to secure their arrests. But Lopez knew that the fight wasn't over. There was still the matter of the mole within the force, and the need to ensure that Millfield could heal from this ordeal. With Anna safely rescued, Detective Lopez knew the clock was ticking to arrest Mark Harrison and Robert Kane. The farmhouse had yielded a wealth of evidence, including documents linking Harrison to various illegal activities and recordings of conversations that Anna had managed to hide before her capture. Anna, though shaken, was resolute in her determination to see justice served. She provided a detailed account of her investigation, her meetings with informants, and the threats she received. Her testimony was the final nail in the coffin for Harrison and Kane. With a warrant in hand, Lopez and her team moved to arrest the two men. The arrest operation was carefully planned. They knew Harrison had significant influence and resources, which could lead to an attempt to flee or resist. As the police arrived at Harrison's lavish estate, they were met with armed security. A tense standoff ensued, but ultimately, Harrison was taken into custody without any bloodshed. Kane, however, was another story. He had gone into hiding, aware that the net was closing in on him. Lopez's team worked around the clock, following every lead and tip to track him down. The breakthrough came when they intercepted a communication between Kane and his lawyer, revealing a planned escape route. Lopez's team set up a trap at the rendezvous point, a private airstrip on the outskirts of town. As Kane arrived, attempting to board a small plane, the police moved in. Kane, realizing the end was near, tried to run but was swiftly apprehended. Back at the station, Harrison and Kane faced intense interrogations. Despite his initial bravado, Harrison began to crumble under the weight of the evidence against him. Faced with the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, he offered to cut a deal, providing information on other criminal activities in exchange for leniency. Lopez, however, was determined to see justice fully served and declined any deal that would lessen Harrison's punishment significantly. The trial that followed was the talk of Millfield. Anna's courage and dedication were lauded as she testified against Harrison and Kane. The courtroom was packed, with the community eager to see justice for the young journalist who had risked everything to uncover the truth. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for only a few hours before returning with a guilty verdict on all counts. Harrison and Kane were sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. The town of Millfield could finally breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that the men who had caused so much pain and fear were behind bars. With Harrison and Kane sentenced to life in prison, the town of Millfield began the slow process of healing. The revelation of such deep-seated corruption and crime had shaken the community to its core. People were both relieved and horrified, grateful for the justice served, but troubled by how long it had taken for the truth to come to light. Anna Reynolds became a local hero. Her bravery and dedication to uncovering the truth had not only brought justice but also restored faith in the power of journalism. She received numerous awards and accolades for her work, but the experience had left deep scars. Anna decided to take a break from investigative journalism. The ordeal had been too close, too personal. She used the time to recover, spending days with her family and seeking therapy to deal with the trauma. Yet, her passion for truth and justice remained undiminished. She began working on a book, detailing her investigation and the corruption she uncovered in Millfield, hoping to inspire others to stand up against injustice. Detective Lopez also felt the weight of the case. The investigation had been one of the most challenging of her career, but it had also solidified her resolve. She continued her work with renewed vigor, focusing on rooting out corruption within the police force. The discovery of the mole within the department had been a harsh reminder of how deep Harrison's influence had run. The mole, Officer Michael Turner, had been feeding information to Harrison and Kane for years. His betrayal had endangered countless lives and undermined the public's trust in the police. Turner was arrested and faced his own trial, where he was convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice, receiving a lengthy prison sentence. Millfield, despite its picturesque charm, had been a town with secrets. The events of the past months had exposed its darker side, but it also brought the community closer. People were more vigilant, more supportive of each other, and more committed to ensuring their town remained a safe and welcoming place. As for Detective Lopez, she was promoted to lead a new task force aimed at tackling organized crime in the region. Her success in the Harrison case had proven her capabilities and earned her respect within the department and the community. She continued to work closely with Anna, who, despite her decision to step back from journalism, remained a valuable ally and advisor. The story of Anna Reynolds and Detective Maria Lopez became a symbol of hope and resilience in Millfield. The town had faced a terrifying ordeal, but through courage, determination, and a relentless pursuit of justice, it emerged stronger. Anna's book, titled Unveiling the Truth, became a bestseller. It was not just a recounting of her investigation, but also a powerful narrative on the importance of integrity and courage in the face of danger. Readers from across the country were inspired by her bravery and the unwavering dedication of Detective Lopez. Millfield saw significant changes in the aftermath of the case. The police department underwent a thorough overhaul, with new measures implemented to prevent corruption and improve transparency. Community outreach programs were established to rebuild trust between the police and the residents. Anna eventually returned to journalism, though with a new focus. She started a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting investigative journalists and protecting those who face threats because of their work. Her organization provided resources, legal assistance, and safe havens for journalists in need. Anna's experience had shown her the risks, but also the vital importance of uncovering the truth. Detective Lopez, now a prominent figure in the fight against organized crime, continued to make strides in her career. Her new task force achieved significant successes, dismantling several criminal networks and bringing numerous offenders to justice. Lopez's leadership and integrity became a benchmark within the force, inspiring many young officers. The bond between Anna and Lopez remained strong. They had been through an extraordinary journey together, one that had changed their lives forever. They often collaborated on initiatives aimed at promoting justice and integrity, using their story as a powerful example of what could be achieved when people stood up against corruption and crime. Millfield, once a quiet town with hidden secrets, had transformed. Its residents were more vigilant, more engaged in their community, and more supportive of each other. The story of Anna Reynolds and Detective Lopez served as a constant reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light of truth and justice could prevail. Thank you for listening to Thriller Nights. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling nighttime tales. Stay vigilant, stay courageous, and always seek the truth. This is Greg, signing off. Remember, every story we share is a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Until next time, good night. Thank you for your patience and dedication to our channel, and thank you for tuning in to our latest story.